What's up, everybody? It's your boy Corey, aka GQ Saint, back from the reaction video. Yeah, it's been a couple of days since I dropped the video. Let you know today, a couple of days later, second day I wasn't feeling too well, had a little allergy problem. And yesterday was horrible. I think they were working some kind of fiber line in my area and a bunch of different areas too. My internet was down for about 7 to 8 hours. Yes, I'm not joking. And then when I finally came back on, I had to reset my modem router, to the original name I say it under. Cause originally just showed like Netgear. I use Netgear. I got Netgear Nighthawk, so I had to reset the name and stuff. But yeah, it was late when it came back on, so it's ridiculous. And I found out they did the same thing because around my mother's neighborhood, because I live not too far from my parent. Well, live around 7 minutes from my dad, at least 10, 15 minutes. Well, at least I'm gonna say, yeah, at least up to 10 to fit between 10 to 15 minutes from my mom. So yeah, it's been somewhat a nightmare this past few days what they were doing. So the different errors could have missed with people's internet. Some people don't even got cable, which I don't have cable. I most just do a bunch of streaming and stuff through apps. But neither here nor there. Back now, let's go and get to this video. This is a major, well, what they title is a major update between the Jonathan Majors situation, especially with the stats, legal team, and I think Marvel, are they really keeping him as Kang the Conqueror? Me personally, I hope so. Does a great job. Plus, all this, kind of prove his innocence and everything. But anyway, let's get into it. You already know special question. I'll comment below. Let me know what you had to. Let's get it.
Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host Warren Thompson, and today we have a new update about the case.
When I first watched that scene, you said mentioned say Conqueror wearing that purple. Said that's Kang.
This morning, this was his set court date, and things were supposed to begin. However, it does appear like there have been some delays, and some new allegations against him are now coming out because apparently more alleged victims are coming out as well. So we'll talk about what this means for the case of Jonathan Majors, and of course what it means for the Marvel Cinematic Universe and his role of Kang the Conqueror. If you have not seen recently, the Loki Season 2 trailer dropped, and Jonathan Majors
I did react to it. Check it out.
Of course, Jonathan Majors plays Kang the Conqueror in the MCU, and in the Loki Season 2 trailer, he plays a variant of Kang called Victor Timely. Marvel did show him up close and personal. Also, recently, Marvel had delayed
also
the
the
release
Ant-Man
of
and Wasp
Ant-Man
end
and the
credits.
Wasp Quantumania Assembled project. They delayed this indefinitely originally because of everything that was going on with Jonathan Majors. However, they did release it. This was a great sign, and it's a great sign that we are seeing Jonathan Majors in the promotions for Loki Season 2 as well. And we thought things were looking pretty good for him. However, today, a slight curveball has been thrown at us. However, it doesn't look that bad. If anything, as you'll find out, it seems like Jonathan Majors and his team were the ones that were more prepared. But of course, we'll tell you everything you need to know, and if you want to keep up to date with this situation in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the recent videos. And we're also doing a giveaway. If you subscribe and leave a comment, you're automatically entered for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, a PS5, some Marvel Legends items, or some DC items. The winner gets to pick one
Think the one of
item,
Marvel
and pick a
Legends
winner at the end
items.
of each month. So this article is coming to us from Variety.com.
As you see by the video, I already got the PS5 finally.
Trial delayed. New date set for September.
Really?
Now,
Why?
He did appear in court this morning. In fact, he recently.
Sorry about that, y'all. Ad ran through, but yeah, why did you delayed it the court date for another month? I need to listen
In fact,
to this.
he recently, a few hours ago, got out of court. And Variety offers us a brief little description of what happened in court. Let's just go through the Variety article right now. It starts off by stating the domestic violence trial of Jonathan Majors has been delayed to September. The 33-year-old actor returned to court on Thursday, today, for what was
We're the
supposed to
same
be the
age.
start of the
I'm
trial,
33.
but the prosecution said it was not ready because it's still obtaining discovery. Majors, wearing a gray suit, entered the courtroom holding hands with girlfriend Megan Good. He carried a Bible and notebook as he approached the bench at 9:42 a.m. This is Eastern Time, with his criminal defense lawyer, Priya Chaudhry. She alleged the delay is because the prosecutors weren't timely in turning over evidence. A new trial date has been set for September 6th. Now, let's talk about what exactly this means. It was not ready because the prosecution was still obtaining discovery, and they weren't timely in turning in evidence. What this most likely is more accusations and more people coming out, because this is what Variety had actually reported in the past. Before the first original court date, the prosecution claimed that more alleged victims came forward. So this is most likely connected somewhat to the evidence that the prosecution has not turned in yet. But it also is probably them trying to counter the evidence that Jonathan Majors and his team have against them. Jonathan Majors' lawyer,
Probably.
Chaudhry,
Who
issued a
knows?
statement after the court appearance stating pretty much the
He
same
did a great
thing,
job in
claiming
Creed
that
3.
Jonathan Majors is, and I quote, the real victim in this shameful ordeal, end quote. She also went on to say, quote, he has had his life, career, and reputation torn apart, yet he remains unwavering in his determination to be absolved from this harrowing ordeal, end quote. So the entire time, since the very first day that he was arrested, Jonathan Majors and his law team have stated he is innocent, and not only is he innocent, but he is actually the victim in this situation. Let me further explain this. As the report
This is
states,
dope picture
Jonathan
right here. I
Majors
like
was
that.
arrested in Manhattan, New York.
Might need to get
on
your
March
picture of this from my
25th, and was
office.
charged with accounts of assault and aggravated harassment following an alleged domestic dispute with his then girlfriend at the time, Grace Jabari. At the time of the arrest, a then unnamed woman told officers that she was assaulted and taken to the hospital with minor injuries to her head and neck. This unnamed woman, of course, is Grace Jabari, his ex-girlfriend. Majors has pleaded not guilty to the 4 charges leveled against him, and there was a charge of strangulation that ended up being dropped. Right now, as it stands, if convicted of misdemeanor charges of harassment and assault, Jonathan Majors could face up to 1 year in jail. So that's what happened, and those are the charges.
That sounds accurate, yeah.
However, since then, Jonathan Majors' law team has come out and presented a lot of evidence in his favor. From what we understand, Jonathan Majors and his girlfriend at the time, Grace Jabari, were in a private car with a private driver. Grace Jabari allegedly wanted to see Jonathan Majors' phone. He said no. They got into a little dispute over it, which resulted in her hitting him a little bit. And according to the law team, the driver can attest to this and will testify in court that this is actually what happened. They also state that the driver is going to testify that Jonathan Majors is the one that told him to pull over the car, in which Jonathan Majors then got out of the car, but Grace Jabari tried to pull him back in. Eventually, Jonathan Majors did get out of the car. Grace Jabari stayed, and she left and went to a nightclub. What's interesting is, at this point in time, this domestic dispute in the car is where Grace Jabari was allegedly assaulted, hurting her hand, her neck, her head, and her ear. However, she went to a club after, and there is photo and video evidence of her.
Yeah, that's kind of
behaving
strange.
just
Like, you
fine,
so-called
not injured at
victim
all,
of domestic
using the hand
violence while you going to... Sorry about that, y'all. Another ad went through. It cut me off, but yeah, that's kind of strange that you go to a
using the
club
hand that
right after
she said
you
was
a
hurt,
so-called
touching the ear
victim
that
of
she said
domestic
was hurt.
violence.
She was
That's what
drinking a lot,
that's what
she was
shocked me. He
dancing,
said
she
that
was
didn't make
talking
any
to the
sense.
DJ. Basically, no signs of her being hurt at all. And this is evidence
Yeah.
that Jonathan Majors' team has presented to the courtroom. They also have CCTV footage of the street of where Jonathan Majors actually got out of the car that allegedly shows her trying to pull him back in which he finally escapes and walks away from the situation. Then, based
Then he
off
let
of
up.
what
He
we
took
know,
off his
Jonathan
jacket,
Majors
yeah.
returned to his
Man, if I'm in that
maintenance
situation, I do that
apartment
same thing. I
the
get away
next
far
morning
as
around 10 or
possible because
11
you know.
a.m., in which she was already in there. However, she was in his room and he could not get the door open. Apparently the closet was locked, so he called the maintenance man, in which he came over and opened the door, in which they found Grace Jabari passed out drunk on the floor, passed out drunk, half naked. Then what happened here is Jonathan Majors called the cops himself.
Yeah, he
because
called the
he had no
police.
idea what happened. Then, according to Majors' law team statement, when the cops got there, they seemingly kind of coached Grace Jabari into stating that it was Jonathan Majors that assaulted her. That is when they arrested Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors' lawyer, Priya Chaudhry, states that there is a lot of racial bias in the role of this investigation, and she is calling this a
Yeah, because
witch
he's
hunt
black
against
and the other
Jonathan
girl was
Majors.
white.
But also the maintenance man is prepared to
I
testify
would
in
have
court
sued
as
those
well
guys,
on what
man.
he saw,
Those guys, I
opening
would
the
have
door
got.
and finding the woman
Oh
passed
yeah,
out drunk, half naked on the
I would
floor.
put them
So
in this
this is all
lawsuit.
the
Yeah.
evidence that Majors and his team has prepared. We haven't really heard of any evidence that the prosecution has so far, and apparently their evidence wasn't even ready for court, which is why the court date has been postponed
Oh man.
at this point in time. It's been postponed essentially a month now to September 6th. Now, as far as what this means for Marvel, right now it means they have to wait just a little bit longer to find out what the actual verdict is going to be. If Jonathan Majors is convicted and he goes to jail, they're going to drop him as Kang the Conqueror. However, if he is proven innocent, they're going to keep him as Kang the Conqueror in the MCU. So this month
Who could replace him as Kang? I don't know. Because he was the best person in Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania.
However, with all of the strikes going on right now, everything's pretty
Yeah,
much getting
just
delayed
them
anyways.
strikes,
So it's
yeah.
not super terrible news. But of course, if you want
Exactly.
to keep up to date with the situation, be sure
A
to
whole bunch
subscribe
of
to the
films and stuff,
notification
movie
bell
star
if we hear
production,
anything
Deadpool
else,
3.
we'll be sure to let you know. In the meantime, let us know what you think about this situation in the comments down below. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and as always,
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop right there because they just, yeah. Okay, pretty cool video. So yeah, this is a very, very unexpected. A friend of mine told me about this more. I didn't believe. I was like, you serious? Then I decided to go ahead and pull this and react to this. So yeah, it's a lot to think about. Such a why you had all this month's time to get the evidence ready, but now I don't know. Who knows what they're going to present, especially these new so-called accusers. This I ain't gonna get into much detail, but yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Anyway, let me know how you feel about the video, how you feel about this situation. Is he gonna get off real easy? Who knows? Anyway, let me know how you feel about it. Make sure you give your boy a like, comment, and subscribe. Have a fantastic day. Peace.